Bitter criticism. A special night from North Korea. You know, I feel a little embarrassing about this jacket I have. I guess I will not wear it in public. Because of the fuss. This jacket will make a lot of fuss here in Southeast Korea. Because right here, there are a lot of anti-communist people. This is a pretty fascist country. And of course, we have a lot of reggaeton everywhere. Anyway, I guess I have legitimate North Korean news here. I will check it out right now with you. Nobody. Look, this is the size. It's called KCNA, DPRK Today, English, National Sci-Tech Presentation in Field of Quake and Volcano Studies held. This is from today, March 10th. Source DPRK Today English. Pyongyang, April 8th. This was Pyongyang. This news is like I'm a supporter of communism and North Korean regime or government, but when I read Pyongyang, sounds like hell to me. Just because of media, you know. Pyongyang. Can you imagine Pyongyang? I hope I will know someday, I guess. A national sci-tech presentation in the field of quake and volcano studies took place on April 6th and 7th under the sponsorship of the Korean Association for Earthquake and Volcano Studies of the Central Committee of the General Federation of Science and Technology of Korea. Present there were officials, teachers and researchers of Kim Il-sung University, the Bureau of Earthquake, the Geology Institute of the State Academy of Sciences, and other units. The presentation was held in a way of presentation of papers and questionnaire. It appreciated more than 40 papers presented by scientists, technicians, and experts. Several proposals conducive to observing and forecasting quake and volcano and preventing damage attracted the attention of the participants and the jury. Well, a short news from Science in North Korea, and we're gonna read another news. We have a lot of news from this side. KCNA, DPRK Today English. Underwater strategic weapon system tested in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the North Korea. This is from today also, March 10 from 2023. Pyongyang, April 8. No. This is from April 8, I guess. Well, this date, today was the day I made a search, but the news is from April 8, and the last one it was from April 8 too. Well, I'm not sure about this. Anyway, I'm gonna read this. A National Defense Science Research Institute in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea carried out a test underwater strategic weapon system from April 4 to 7. The underwater nuclear attack drone HALE-2 entered into the test in Kaejin Port Kumia County, South Hamgyong Province in the afternoon on April 4th. It cruised 1,000 kilometers of simulated underwater distance in elliptical and 8 patterns set in the East Sea of Korea for 71 hours and 6 minutes. In the afternoon on April 7th, it arrived in the waters of Ryogdae Port, Tangchong City, South Hamgyong Province, the place of simulated target where the test warhead accurately detonated underwater. The test perfectly proved the reliability of underwater strategic weapons system and its fatal attack ability. The system will serve as an advantageous and prospective military potential of the armed forces of the Republic Democratic People from Korea, essential for containing all involving military actions of enemies, removing threats, and defending the country. Well, this I knew that Russia has some the Poseidon bomb, and sounds just like Russian Poseidon, but cheaper. Because North Korea is poorer. Anyway, and all this news is like sounds like military and science and stuff. And I have a really short news here that I will not read it. Look, blasting of 200,000 cubic meters of earth carried out, and we have another quiet news. Is a very more quiet news. Pyongyang mushroom farm, a mushroom farm, so it's peaceful. A peaceful mushroom farm, not nuclear, nothing. The Pyongyang mushroom farm was successfully built in line with the noble intention of the Workers' Party of Korea, which regard the issue of the people's life as the one of the most important state affairs. The farm, which has put its mushroom production on a scientific, intensive, and industrial basis, is contributing to the citizens' dietary life by producing various kinds of tasty and highly nutritious mushrooms. The factory is associated with devoted efforts made by the respected comrade Kim Jong-un for the people's well-being. I think this Kim, I don't know what, true. It was his father, the Kim Jong-un father's. Kim Jong-un's father, the two stuff, I don't know. He personally initiated the construction of the farm, shows its site dispatches a powerful designing and construction force and solve all problems arising in its construction. One day in April, June, I guess, 106 Jush, in April Jush, I don't know what Jush is, 106 and 2017, he gave field guidance to the Pyongyang mushroom farm splendidly, building to a model of the mushroom farm in the DPRK. Well, that sounds fine, I guess. I don't know. If the president will give people's mushroom for free, for me it's fine. Because I don't know, people don't have to keep thinking about food. If the government gives you food, that will be fine. I don't know, you don't have to spend your life thinking about starving. That the food problem should be a basic necessity, a basic right. That's my opinion. That's why I'm communist. The factory is associated with the devoted efforts made by the respected comrade Kim Jong-un for people's well-being. And yeah, I just read this. After looking around various places of the farm, they highly praised the designing and construction units for successfully building a farm into a precious treasure which will greatly contribute to the improvement of the people's diet, saying the factory with perfect interior and exterior is a proud model and standard of the mushroom farm in the country. Nothing that it is the firm determination of the party to turn the country into a country of mushrooms true to the behest of President Kim Il-sung and Chairman Kim Jong-chul. I don't get it. Who is President Kim Il-sung and Chairman Kim Jong-chul? I don't know. I never saw their pictures, and this news don't have a picture. He have precious instructions to be regarded as guidelines in the management and operation of the farm, including the issue of actively introducing advances and practical cultivation methods, the issue of intensifying the research into increasing the variety of mushrooms, and the issue of widely generalizing the successes and experience gained in mushroom production. Officials and employees of the Pyongyang mushroom farm are devoting their wisdom and enthusiasm to production and supplying more mushrooms of better taste and higher nutrition to the people, bearing deep in mind of the noble intention of Kim Jong-un. Well, this, I guess, well, if there will be, these mushrooms are very expensive, They are, I guess the mushroom is more expensive than meat right here in South Korea. For sure, a mushroom, it costs like, I don't know, the other day I saw some mushrooms in the fair, and that was a lot of expensive. That was crazy expensive. So that's nice. I'm going to North Korea to eat some mushrooms. And I will tell another news. I'm not sure if all the news are from today or April 8th. For some reason, I don't know. I guess these news are from April 8th. Well, this news is spring farming in full swing. Pyongyang, April 8. KCNA. Spring farming is in full swing in the rural areas of South Pyongyang province of the DPRK thing with the implementation of the resolution of the 7th Planetary Meeting of the 8th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. The province has rationally deployed manpower and means on farms in order to push ahead with the work of increasing the fertility of soil and the preparations for sowing rice beds and seeding dry fields crops. City and county agricultural guidance organs are intensifying field guidance to ensure that all farm work is done on the principle of planting the right crop on the right soil at the right crop and the right crop in the right season, while encouraging the masses through frontline style political work. I guess, I don't know. I'm not sure about North Korea. This just rural news. I prefer the mushroom news. That was great. That was better. I mean, this news I just read, they have no content. It's like all about misery. I don't know. So it's all about agricultural stuff. Anyway, let's read more about North Korea. Successes made in putting nutrition care of children on scientific basis. April 10th, Pyongyang again. Researchers of the Research Institute for Nutrition Care of Children under the Academy of Medical Science in the DPRK are striving to implement the Workers' Party of Korea's childcare policy. Well, I will just comment in 1 minute. After setting ambitious goals for putting the nutrition care of children on a scientific basis, they are exploring a new method for the nutrition care of children. The researchers added healthcare issue to drawing up a guide for taking nutrition care of nursery and kindergarten children according to the age and nutritive conditions, and intensified the research for putting it on a scientific basis. As a result, a scientific guarantee for nutrition care of children according to their age has been provided. Anyway, I hope the best for North Korea, but sounds pretty suspicious. Even I don't know. Maybe people are just starving there, and I have no idea what's going on. But the opposite is not true. You cannot say that South Korea is great neither. Well, I will read more, just a couple of news more, because they are pretty short. More units Confederate title of Socialist Patriotic Forest. Did not understand, but anyway. Pyongyang, April 10. The number of units that won the title of Socialist Patriotic Forest is on the steady increase in the DPRK. The respected comrade Kim Jong-un visited Central Tree Nursery under the Ministry of Land and Environment Protection in November Jush. What the hell is Jush? November Jush 103, 2014, and stressed the need to conduct a dynamic mass movement such as the movement of winning the title of the Socialist Patriotic Forest and the title of Model County in afforestation in the whole society. Oh, I lost the news. Just 1 second. Another second. I guess I have here. No, I don't know. Just 1 second. Yeah, I guess I have. The respected comrade Kim Jong-un visited the Central Tree Nursery under the Ministry of Land and Environment Protection in November Jush, and stressed the need to conduct a dynamic mass movement such as the movement for winning the title of the Socialist Patriotic Forest and the title of Model County in afforestation in the whole society. In hearty response to the patriotic appeal of Kim Jong-un, the people of the country have turned out as one in the Socialist Patriotic Forest movement, a mass movement. Since the publication of the decree of the Standing Committee of the Supreme People's Assembly of DPRK of conferring the title of Socialist Patriotic Forest on exemplary units in January 2019, more than 1,930 units have been awarded the title across the country. The title of Socialist Patriotic Forest was awarded to various units in January 2019. And the number of the units winning the title reached more than 300 by August 2020. In 2021 alone, hundreds of units were awarded the title of Socialist Patriotic Force, and more than 330 units awarded the title in a little over a year since then. Hundreds of units across the country have been awarded the title this year amid the enthusiasm of the masses who have turned out true to the idea of the sixth plenary meeting of the 8th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. I don't know. I don't know more about nothing, because this sounds like demagogy, the socialist demagogy. Anyway, I will keep reading. But yeah, the last news I read these awards, all this award stuff. Looks artificial, looks like simple demagogy. But who knows? I never been in North Korea. I never saw these forests. I don't know if they have an ecological problem or if they are doing well. What I do know is that here in the Southeast Korea, we have all kind of liberal problems. we have no how to say environment. We have a lot of contamination. This is famous. You can search Chile contamination on Chile. You will have a lot of material there. Anyway, let's keep. I guess tonight will be all about North Korea. About North Korea. And you see, there's only 20 minutes, and we have a lot of news because they are short. I will keep reading all this North Korean government news. Patriotic movement launched in North Pyongyang province. April 10th, 1 month ago. It's today, yeah. It's very today. And the other was 2 days ago, yeah. Anyway, Pyongyang, April 10th. Working People's Organization in North Pyongyang province of the DPRK boosts the enthusiasm of their members to mass movement through dynamic organizational and political work. True, I have this true thing is not true. The true. I guess this is a wrong writing, because it's TRUE, but everybody know that it's throw. Yeah. Anyway, and political work through the intention of the Workers' Party of Korea to forcefully conduct the Socialist Patriotic Movement and Revolutionary Mass Movement. The Provincial Trade Union and Women's Union Committees conduct effective guidance and review to ensure that the whole course of the mass movement is directed to mobilizing the ideological power of their members. Officials of trade unions at all levels of industrial establishments displayed slogans and watchwords reflecting the spirit of self-reliance and the spirit of devotedly implementing the party policies in the compounds and production sites, and are contributing to reinforcing the existing equipment and enhancing the production capacity, while arousing the working people to the mass movement for equipment management. The number of innovators is increasing at the Ponghua Chemical Factory, the Sinuiju Cosmetics Factory, the Sinuiju Textile Mill, and other units under the influence of the collectivist spirit of helping and leading each other forward. Women's union organization organized exhibitions of small farms, implements, and are popularizing the experience of advanced units, thus increasing the enthusiasm for helping the countryside. Members members of the Women's Union in Sinuiju City, Yeongju County, and other cities and counties provided more than 100,000 tons of organic manure and over 300,000 small and medium farms implements to rural areas through mass movement. Women's Union members of Jinju City, Dongrin County, Daejeon County are rendering material and moral support to the construction of a new street in the Sopo area in Pyongyang. Well, you have to think about this. This is a poor country, and this is an abused country for the imperialism, and they are really doing this. This, I don't know, agricultural initiative. They do what they can do, you know. They do what they can, and maybe they are surviving, you know. They are doing great. And there's a lot of homeless in South Korea. That's the truth. I will read more news from KCNA.kp. KCNA. More units conferred title of Socialist Patriotic Forest. It's all about forest. I guess I'm done with this forest. No, I just read this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I will read another news now from KCNA in English. KCNA.kp. North Hamgyong Province spruces up Chongjin City. This news is from today to April 10. Pyongyang, April 10. North Hamgyong Province of the DPRK pushes ahead with the work to spruce up Chongjin City. The province replaces the curbstones of main roads with the Sunan district of Chongjin City as a model of pushes forward with the work for setting up flower pot stands and creating flower gardens. In order to add beauty to the provincial set, it is pushing ahead with the work to plant more trees and good species, create landscaping in different parts, and repair of spruce up parks and pleasure grounds. It also propels the work to paint the dwelling houses with a coating material to keep the residential areas in a cultural and hygienic way. It is enhancing the role of the officials in the urban management field and is inspiring the inhabitants to voluntarily turn out in the efforts to spruce up their streets and villages. The Chongjin Slate Factory and other units are directing efforts to producing colored tiles and supplying materials to further spruce up streets and villages. And that was everything about KCNA.kp. I have another news from North Korea, but I'm tired. I'm done with North Korea. I just want to read anything that is not North Korea. I wanna think about another thing. You know, I have a news from Cuba. I have some news from Cuba here. And I'll show you something. Ta-da! Nobody likes North Korea, but everybody loves Cuba, isn't it? Well, I guess everybody loves Cuba. I'll read some news from Cuba. You know? And I had a really nice surprise when I searched for Cuban news in English, and I found the grandma, the newspaper from the government, the newsletter from government in English. There are grandma in English, and I guess it's this. Look, I don't know. Just 1 second. Yeah, look, right here, look. National Bank of Cuba to appeal British court's ruling. And we have one ahead. Sagua La Grande. Yeah, we have a lot. Look, Sagua La Grande commemorates the 65th anniversary on the April 9th strike. Hundreds of people on Sunday commemorated the 65th anniversary of April 9th, 1958's general strike, when the city was taken by the revolutionary forces for 24 hours. Well, I am not a really fan of this, because these like anniversaries from battles and stuff, it's too memorialistic, you know. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the reality. National Bank of Cuba appealed British court's ruling. You know, I'm more interested in the future, no, not in this little dates of strikes. I don't know. Anyway, National Bank of Cuba to appeal British court's ruling. The National Bank of Cuba will file an appeal against the ruling by a British court following the lawsuit filed by the Vulture Fund CRF. One Limited. Justice Minister Oscar Silvera announced at a press conference April 6th, 4 days ago. Photo ACN, Havana, April 5th, Prensa Latina. The National Bank of Cuba will file an appeal against the ruling by a British court following the lawsuit filed by the Vulture Fund CRF. One Limited. Justice Minister Oscar Silvera announced at a press conference. Silvera pointed out that the actions by the Vulture Fund are in bad faith. They are documents that prove the intentions of damaging the country and affecting the financial flows of the Cuban economy, he stressed. Cuba strictly complied with its legal obligations in London. He pointed out that Cuba is immune from English jurisdiction and has no obligation to respond to the lawsuit. CRF is not a creditor of the Cuban state, so Cuba is out of the lawsuit. On Tuesday, Cuba won the lawsuit when the ruling was issued establishing that the Vulture Fund CFR One Limited is not a creditor of the Cuban state. In a hearing held in the High Court of England and Wales, Judge Sarah Cockerill notified the lawyers for the parties about the ruling regarding the lawsuit filed by the Vulture and CRF First Limited against Cuba and the National Bank of Cuba. I have no idea about Cuba banks. I don't understand. I will find interesting news here. Cuban president will participate in the summit convened by Mexico. I guess I don't know. No, I will not read that because it's just a fact, you know. How is judicial protection guaranteed to persons with disabilities? Oh, you know, I guess I like the Cuba and North Korea, but they are boring. I'm sorry, but All this is boring. You know what is not boring? Russia Today. Look, that was the police. We have, I expect for interesting news here. Headlines for the loser. Do you want to see what unanimity is? Look at the headlines for the so-called great international press on Cuba's national election on March 26. Do you want to see what officialism is? Compare them with the statements of the U.S. government and its embassy in Havana on the same subject. Well, I got my provocation here. Israel Sanchez and April 6th, and 4 days ago. And do you want to see what unanimity is? Look at the headlines of the so-called great international press on Cuba's national election on March 26. Do you want to see what officialism is? Compare them with the statements of the U.S. government and its embassy in Havana on the same subject. In spite of the fact that the turnout in Cuba significantly exceeds that of the election days in the countries where those media outlets are based, abstentionism is the word of order in their coverage, coinciding with the call previously made by the propaganda machinery in digital networks paid by Washington to the island. Dogmatic believers who think there is no democracy without a multi-party system along the way, they insist that there are no parties, competition or opposition among the candidates, but they fail to say where they came from. It is necessary to imagine for a moment how dangerous it will be for their audiences if they knew that these candidacies were debated, approved, and sometimes even modified by a municipal assembly elected by secret vote of neighbors by a list of nominees in open and public neighborhood assemblies. There, in those neighborhood meetings, each voter could do what in the electoral mode defended by the United States and the press that serves in its war against Cuba and the monopoly of a party, nominate and approve candidates. Well, this is going that way, debating about democracy, and anyway. I will read another news from Cuba. India and Cuba identify field for digital cooperation. New Delhi, March 29. Prensa Latina. India and Cuba agreed to collaborate on digital transformation, the main outcome of the meeting of the Secretary of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology of India, Alkesh Kumar Sharma, and the Deputy Minister of Communications of Cuba, Grisel Reyes. Well, you know what I don't like about this grandma and the other news from the North Korea is that they pretend to be good news, always good news, you know, and I don't know, and it's always precarious, you know, they always precarious initiatives, I don't know. I'm doing a pretty normal criticism, isn't it? From which I should support. I should support them, but I don't know. It's boring, you know. I'm sorry, but yeah, I will try another one. Migrants or slaves. The drama encouraged by some sponsors. A business flourishes in the United States. Thousands of immigrants are becoming part of a new economy of exploitation. Yeah, this is interesting. Devised by coming sponsors, they travel in search for a dream, but their hopes end in nightmares. Yeah. Raul Antonio Capote. I like it. April 6th, 4 days ago. Except Except for the migrants, everyone wins in the booming business of a new economy of exploitation. The New York Times photogram. Anyway, the photo is from New York Times. A business flourishes in the United States. Thousands of immigrants are becoming part of a new economy of exploitation. Deceived by cunning sponsors, they travel in search of a dream, but their hopes end in nightmares. In this lucrative industry of evil, they rise daily to go to work in harshest conditions, condemned to an extreme existence. More than 250,000 unaccompanied minors arrived in the country in the last 2 years, as recently revealed by the New York Times. The children, the main victims of traffickers, work in some of the country's toughest trades, circumventing existing labor laws. It's getting to be a business for some of these sponsors, said Annette Pasalacqua, a social worker in Central Florida. They work in slaughterhouses in Delaware, Mississippi, and North Carolina. Saw planks of lumber in South Dakota. Work for Hyundai and Kia suppliers. Drive milking machines in Vermont. Puts on roof in Florida. Drive 35-ton bulldozers. 13 years old girl wash sheets in Virginia hotels. Well, this I didn't get this. Drive 35-ton bulldozers. That sounds great, you know. That sounds a good job. I didn't get that. Anyway, the new serfs are persuaded by people, companies, and supposed law firms through social networks. When they arrive in the promised paradise, the reality is quite different. Then they find that they owe thousands of dollars, that they have to find a place to live, and the debt grows with each passing minute, and with each service they receive. The underground market for migrants seeking U.S. sponsor has grown since President Joe Biden's administration announced that Washington will accept a limited number of applicants for several countries in the region. The program approved by the White House, which allows legal entry into the country through a sponsor, was generated an underground online market very similar to the one operating in Central America. According to a report by the AP news agency, bidders demand up to $10,000 for a financial sponsor. And attorney Taylor Levy, who worked for a long time on the border near El Paso, Texas, stated that what worries her are the risks in terms of being trafficked and exploited. And that's it. Well, I guess Fidel Castro was a better president, you know. I don't know what's going on in Cuba. I don't feel the force, you know. I'm not feeling the. I used to read this newspaper in Spanish long ago. I used to read Fidel Castro's speeches, but right now all these news are strange. Again, Cuba's victory in London against vulture funds. Cuba won a lawsuit when the sentence was handed down, establishing that the vulture fund, CFR Investment Limited, is not a creditor of the Cuban state. Yeah, I don't know. All this news is, I don't know. It's like Manichaeism. It's like a regime that is always celebrating, but I don't know. And we have the same news always. I don't know. Cuba. Look, Cubans to contribute to community medicine in Vietnamese city. Cuban specialists in primary health care will collaborate in Ho Chi Minh City for the development of a community medicine project. Cuban specialists in primary health care will collaborate in Ho Chi Minh City for the development of a community medicine project. Well, everybody understand that because Cuba have a lot of quality in medicine, you know. I didn't like this news, but it's too, I don't know. Anyway, I also have news from CGTN. I guess it's better. Well, next time I will read only CGTN and Russia Today. I guess I will not read Grandma anymore because I don't know. It was boring this time. I prefer to read Fidel Castro's speeches back in I don't know how many years. I guess more than 25 years ago. Fidel Castro is now in heaven, I guess. You know, Fidel Castro was a courage guy, and all the Cuban history was all about courage. But right now they are, I don't know, they are pretending everything is all right. I don't know. They only at least Grandma CU only speak about themselves. They don't talk nothing about Ukraine. Who knows? I didn't like it. Bitter criticism, yeah. Bitter criticism on grandma.cu.